Hello students, welcome to English class. Today we are going to read the third chapter of Honeycomb, the English book of 7th standard. The chapter name is Gopal and the Hilsa fish. Students, Gopal and the Hilsa fish is a short story. This story is funny in its tone and nature and presented in the comic form, not in simple word format. It is a pictorial story. You can see whole chapter is given, whole story is given in the picture form. See, it is pictorial story. The conversation or the dialogues of the characters of the story are given in the speech bubbles. You can see. So students, before going deep into the story, we must know about Hilsa fish. It is a popular fish found in rivers of India. It's mostly sold during monsoon. So, this story is about Hilsa and Gopal. Hilsa fish and Gopal. Gopal is the character who was the wisest man in the king's court, like Birbal. You know, as Birbal was the wisest man in the Akbar's court, likewise Gopal is in this story. So let's start the story. The story begins with the sentence, "It was the season for Hilsa fish. Fisherman could think of nothing but Hilsa fish." It was the season for Hilsa fish, and it was Hilsa that everyone was talking about. The fisherman, in first picture you can see, the fisherman caught a lot of them. They sold them in the market. In the market, the fishmongers or fish sellers were selling only Hilsa fish, luring customers to buy it. They said the price were down to attract the customers. First dialogue, you can see. One seller is saying, "Come buy, the price of Hilsa is down today." So they are attracting their customer by telling that price were down. This news was discussed by all householders. In second picture, you can see one is telling, how much did you pay for that Hilsa? And the next one is replying, "You wouldn't believe it if I told you." They were amazed. People were amazed that the fish came to such a low price. So, in the whole kingdom, in each and every house, the talking of Hilsa fish was going on. Even in the royal court, in the palace also, the courtiers discussed the matter. They were talking about Hilsa. One courtier showed the king a big Hilsa, big fish that he had caught. This made the king lose his temper, and he shouted, "Stop it! Are you a courtier or a fisherman?" The king lost his temper. The courtier became silent and said. Then the king realized his mistake. He felt sorry for his shouting. He believed that no one could stop the people. That was the worry of his. No one could stop the people from talking about Hilsa fish. Not even Gopal, who was the wisest man in his court. The king told that even Gopal could not stop anyone from talking about Hilsa. Gopal protested. He said he could do that. Then the king challenged him to bring a big Hilsa fish to the palace without anyone asking a word about it. The king threw a challenge to the Gopal. Gopal accepted the challenge. He told, "I accept the challenge, Your Majesty." A few days later, After a few days, after a few days, Gopal started working accordingly. He became half shaven and covered himself with ash. His wife looking him with amaze. He wore rags and looked disgraceful. See in this picture. His wife was shocked when she asked him the reason about his peculiar look, his strange look. He said that he was dressing up to buy a Hilsa fish. And his wife thought he had gone mad. Gopal had gone mad. She was thinking. At the market, Gopal bought the Hilsa and started walking toward the palace. By looking him, a child cried, "Mother, look at that man. Isn't he comical?" Child cried that the man was comical. Another called him a madman, and the third mistook him for a mystic. But no one talked about the fish. Everyone was looking at Gopal, walking strangely with his shabby clothes. People called him mystic and mad. And in the next picture, we see Gopal reached the court. He told the guards that he wanted to meet the king. He wanted to see the king. But the guards did not allow him to enter. Then Gopal began to dance. He started dancing and singing loudly in front of the royal court. The king listened his voice and ordered his guard to bring him to the court. Gopal was brought before the king, and everyone in the court was shocked seeing Gopal dressed up like a mad. The king asked him why he was dressed up in that fashion. In this picture, students, see, the king questioned Gopal about the reason for his weird attire. Then Gopal reminded the king about the challenge and told him that from the market to the royal palace, no one had asked him a single word about Hilsa. Gopal explained in the court that when he was coming to the palace, not a single man spoke about Hilsa fish. Everyone got attracted towards his strange look. The king remembered the challenge he had thrown to Gopal. Then he burst into laughter and accepted that Gopal had done the impossible once more, and he congratulated Gopal on his achieving the impossible once again. So this was all about the story. I hope you understood and enjoyed this story. Thank you. Have a nice time.